here at Madison365 with your daily update for today, which is Thursday. Oh boy, Thursday, June 3rd. Is that right? Thursday, June 3rd. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk through the COVID statistics first, and we'll get to some local and some national news on the other side of a short break. The COVID data today continues to look really good. We'll be honest. 165 new cases today. I think I did something wrong in the data collection because it's showing me that there's only 300 new test results today, out of which 165 were positive. I don't think that seems right. The last couple of days, we've had well over 1,000 new tests. So I'm not going to put any stock in that, but 165 new cases, I'm pretty sure is right. 19 more fatalities. Again, double-digit fatalities every day for the past week. That is all catch-up data. Those are old deaths that were probably at one point deemed as probable COVID deaths and have since been confirmed as COVID deaths and are just being added into the data. We didn't have 19 people die of COVID today, or even in the past week. Okay, so we're still getting an accurate death toll, which right now is 7,129. The state is, and I have purposefully not reported probable cases or probable deaths. The state's reporting another 794 probable COVID deaths. I'm not interested in reporting those as actual COVID deaths. I want confirmed, not probable. So our death toll right now is confirmed 7,129. It could be as high as getting close to 8,000. And we probably won't know for sure for a couple more years, to be honest. So that's why we're catching up on these past fatalities right now. Now, looking now to the big number, which is the small number, the most important number is the positive test rate for the past 7 days, which is 1.6% of all COVID tests in the past 7 days. 1.6% were positive, which is the lowest we've seen it ever, I think, really, since we've been tracking that number. We've been tracking that percentage, really since things got bad in the fall in September. And I've never seen it below 2.0. So to have it at 1.6 is great. That's a statewide number. Some places it's better than others. In Dane County, it's below 1%. Other counties, it's maybe slightly above. But still, on a statewide basis, that's great, because what that means is we're doing a lot of testing and we've got the thing more or less under control, right? We haven't beaten it. It's not eradicated, but it's under control here in Wisconsin, which is great. And I misspoke the other day, because today I think is going to be, June 8th, really, next week, is going to be the first day where there's no government restrictions statewide. I thought Dane County was the last county to have any restrictions. I was mistaken. Rock County still had theirs. It still has theirs. But Rock County just announced today that they will loosen those restrictions, and basically businesses will be able to be at full capacity on June 8th, which is Monday next week. Tuesday next week. So, and with that 1.6% positive test rate, to me, that's okay. It seems like we're getting close to 50% positive. 50% vaccinated, and combine that with 1.6% positive test rate. That's the combination of things that will allow us to, ease these restrictions. Now, that said, just because you don't have to wear a mask doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't, and just because restaurants, businesses don't have to require masks doesn't mean they can't. A business can require masks. A restaurant can space their tables. The restaurant can voluntarily limit their capacity. Which some restaurants, in this is these things are not just going to snap back to normal. A lot of restaurants are having trouble getting staffed back up. Right? So some restaurant capacities will actually be limited by their own staffing levels. So I guess my point is, be kind, be cool. Like, we're going to get back to it. Like, we're getting there. If you want to wear a mask, you're welcome to. If you're unvaccinated, you absolutely should be wearing a mask. If you're vaccinated, when I go into stores, I went into the store today, I put a mask on just for the peace of mind of those around me. Because I'm fully vaccinated, have been for 5 weeks, 6 weeks almost. But you don't know that. I don't want to give you any anxiety. So put a mask on for 10 minutes while I'm in Walgreens didn't hurt anything. Right? So be cool, be kind, be nice. Everybody relax. We're going to get through it. Like, we're almost through it. Right? Now, we get through it much quicker if we would get more vaccines done. But vaccines continue to get slow in terms of implementation. I will say the Biden administration on a national level is picking up on what several folks have done around, well, even here in Wisconsin, and are partnering with barbershops and salons to get vaccines into Black and brown neighborhoods. We saw up in Appleton at Tapers, they did a vaccine drive. I know the JP's here in Madison has done a lot of work on men's health. Even before COVID, they were doing men's health stuff at JP's Hair Designs. So the Biden administration is trying to partner with 1,000 barbershops across the country, especially in areas where vaccine levels are low. Looking at you, Milwaukee County, I'm hoping that the government can plug in with some of those barbershops in Milwaukee, help Milwaukee County get kind of caught up. But on a statewide basis, right now, we're doing 10,322 doses per day over the past 7 days. For context, on April 4th, that was 64,000 per day. We're down to 10,000 per day. That's not enough. That's not going to get done. That puts us right now at 48.1% of us have gotten one shot, and 42.3% of us have gotten two shots, or have gotten fully vaccinated, either 2 shots of the 2-shot ones or the single Johnson & Johnson. There's still big disparities. Almost 40% of white people in Wisconsin are fully vaccinated. Only 19.5% of Black people. Like, that's unacceptable. Only 25.8% of Latino people. It's just, we got a lot of work to do to get folks vaccinated. We're not going to get to that herd immunity 80% anytime soon, I don't think, which is okay. Like I said, just these levels of vaccines will keep the numbers low, and COVID will just be a thing we live with. It's not, we may never actually eradicate, but it'll get enough to control it where it'll be like flu. It's just a thing that crops up seasonally. Some people get it. We'll have some deaths from it, but it won't be this wild, out of control thing like it has been for the past 15 months or 16 months or whatever. Okay, that's the coronavirus news for today. I have lots more for you, including a terrific podcast that I want you to listen to, and some other local news right after this word from our sponsor at UW Health.
Here in the Midwest, community is important.
Having a healthcare system that's looking out for us,
that's actively addressing the racial disparities in healthcare is important.
When we can get good quality care, we can do more. We can achieve more.
We can be the kind of community we want to be, and that's really important.
UW Health. Remarkable medicine. Remarkable care.
All right. Today, this morning, out on Madison365.org is the latest edition of Real Talk with Henry Sanders, and the guest today was Jeff Mack, who, if you've been around Madison a while, you might remember Jeff as a linebacker for the Badgers. His dad played for the Badgers, and that's how they landed here in Madison. Back like in the '60s. Jeff played for him early 2000s, and he's now pivoted to be not the football player who is now a banker, but the banker, vice president at Park Bank, who used to play for the Badgers. And he talks in this episode about that pivot, about how intentional he was at 21, 22 years old, but knowing that he's going to have to make that pivot once he's done with football. He's going to have to become something else. Really interesting conversation. If you're in anything to do with finance or anything to do with like a career, honestly. But your own brand, your own career, your own journey. It's really fascinating conversation. I would definitely give that a listen. Just go to Madison365.org/podcasts, and it's right there. Or just wherever you get your podcast, just search for Real Talk with Henry Sanders. Also today, we have a story on the Mann Scholars program. This is a tremendously cool program. It goes back to 1997. And it creates a culture of scholarship in Black and brown kids in Madison. It gives kids entering high school $1,000 a year to help cover extracurriculars and school fees and all that kind of stuff. Provides mentorship, gets them ready for college, and then they go off and then they get scholarships for college. One of the founders of this is these three sisters, the Mann sisters, started this in honor of their parents, who were very dedicated to education. And Lori Mann Carey passed away in November, rather unexpectedly and rather young, and left a big hole in this community. So this week's celebration, which is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, is kind of dedicated in her memory. So that'll be a big event with some new kids coming into the program and others moving on. And Angela Davis from Madison Community Foundation is going to speak, and Francine White, who's a recent grad of Prairie View A&M, is going to come back and talk. Former Mann Scholars. So it'll be a fun time, and it's a very cool program that we basically cover every year. In sports, Fort Madison announced today they're going to have a friendly match against the University of Wisconsin Badgers in August, as the Badgers are ramping up for their fall season in August. The Flamingos will host a friendly it's basically a favor to the Badgers to give them a good competitive match in their preseason, which would be kind of the height of the Flamingos' actual season. Flamingos are unbeaten in their first 5 games in USL League One, and will provide a really fun environment for the UW Badgers to play in, and give them a good test. So, and tickets for that will go on sale on June 7th. Turning to national news, Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks, a bunch of big corporations are putting some time and effort into an initiative to diversify corporate boards, because as much as we want our corporations doing D&I work, like if the boardroom is all white, it's going to go a certain way, and we know that. And which is the case. Like the big corporate boardrooms are mostly white all the time. So these big corporations are actually have this real life thing happening to diversify those boards, and that story is at Madison365.org right now. And finally today, at George Floyd Square in Minneapolis, the barricades are coming down. It's opening back up. And the city has promised a permanent memorial. It's been a year, just over a year, since George Floyd was murdered by police officer Derek Chauvin, and it's been this been impromptu memorial since then, but it's being opened up now, and but the city has said that there will be a permanent memorial at that site in the near future. All right, that's the news from 365 for today. It is a beautiful night. I hope you enjoy it, and we will be back tomorrow. It's only 10 minutes podcast in the morning with all the headlines, and then I'll be back tomorrow afternoon after 4 o'clock for your Friday daily update. And until then, take care, and we'll see you soon.
This is 365 Media.